So we got the Hartman lady who's real pretty, but my mom has to speak for herself, and it's Jessie Madera because she was always pretty. But when the Air Force, she smothers me with berry jam when I cut my beard. Because a lot of times when people get to a Sunday service, they always be what they want to be. Some people are women, some people are men. But in Skokie and Walmart in Illinois, Chase Park, 2002, three different dates, three different leaders, three different arrangement of institution outside of a forest, a box, a desert, a highway that leads to a construction of DHS or buildings where airline pilots are fear of someone being put in a box with stingies in 2008, after 99, 2004, before 2017, where people might intensely lock me in the hospital somehow, but I was real handsome. They tried to stare at my face and intensely stalk me after people long before they were a certain age in Lonzo 2000 or a 2007 born child or a 2004 born child versus 2020 Andrew Laird, where someone might say, I'm beautiful, but that's part of life. Stingies, like what if someone put a stingy on Jesus? I would have to fix it. That's why when it was Paul, he cut off the Roman's ear because he was like, man, they're not going to mess with my God. But I don't say it with an attitude because Germans might speak with an attitude when a man dances for a white girl in church. Like it's for a girl, but it could be still be God because it's in the image of God. So the main thing about the Lord, when he sees people cooking German bakeries, he likes it because they have domain where someone could say, hey, I'm going to make a berries over there to put the lady, because when she does a berry jam, people get happy because she has the jam inside of her. So sometimes when people say people eat bakery Kaufman and it's cheap for a price of the economy domain from Germany, people don't go to Obama and say, I'm going to Glenview to harass people with people out of council when kids who say they can destroy because they have no economy related to the justice of the people who are related to them for free in Skokie. That says we can give things that don't belong to us because people were before you who were already doing that, who you're just like them, who claim that people can't move on because you weren't even existing at the time. You claim that people come from you just like others who were after people before them, who say that you say that a boy is crazy because you claim you're offended and jealous at a woman of real life who you claim that you want to be seen as something. Now all of a sudden, after you want to portray yourself stalking a young man because you're offended and jealous at what he already believed before people were born, after he already got attacked 2008 Colorado because your jealous family was trying to reveal themselves in secret after the boy took over and stated his belief in God. So sometimes when people have Christianity, Jesus died on the cross, they spit on Jesus, they spit in my orange McDonald's drink, but people don't realize McDonald's, if that wasn't for McDonald's, people could go to Germany and Canada, but people say you should be going there every day, greeting the people who work there because they might get to a corporation and say we'll make a bakery in that economy, but not if it didn't come from them, you see. So sometime when this stuff came from a young man, and his grandma could be a big German, and his father could be a black, but the grandma cooks bakery, but the father might be jealous of the mother side when he says, "Oh, my granddad." So people have to be careful because a woman might have wanted to have kids that express her beauty because people would have thought I was ugly. I look like Zion, but I used to look with a calm, smooth face when the white boy attacked me and said that I was so golden and I could have been an actor, but I didn't want to scam people because actors are born finding their life in life. And some people are look with green eyes, but they look too pretty to be an actor. So when people allow themselves to be recording in a frame of population, but then try to say that a boy has schizophrenia because they locked him in the psych hospital, but he can't express his belief in God because they say that it was white people and he can't express the differences of his values because they wanted to steal his identity, claiming that you can't be seen from a frame that you tried to get a freebie in America because the rights that he had came from him and not you, who said you want a freebie but you want to be seen as respectful as something that you get for free, that people can't get your stuff for free because you turn from a Republican to a free public individual under the leadership of a Democratic before you. So when I said transfer to the private sector, it's not for you to have a bunch of nonsense about history, about Republicans and Democrats that have a history of the private sector that have nothing to do with you threatening people out of saying that they're not famous because you don't exist, and you say that they're crazy because you can hide in secret, saying that his spiritual belief that he economizes outside of the law relates to you, saying that people can't express their praise and sound of God on the 24th, 15th. Sunday of September the 9th month. So this is after. Hey, Mom. Good.
Yeah, what you do yesterday?
Yesterday, I just went and got me some Pop Tarts. I think about going for a walk real quick, but I was waiting for you to be done praying.
Oh, I was just sitting down there. Yeah. Uh, well, I came home at about almost 1.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was out all night. I mean, not all night, pretty long.
Oh, you come on. You got me this McDonald's?
Yeah, I was hungry when I came home and I got 2 meals, but I didn't know you were awake.
Uh-huh.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, I did eat it.
Because
Thank
I
you,
didn't
Mom.
know whether you had food or not. Oh,
Sometimes. So, this woman, I be kind of chubby. Mom will be like, why don't we go to Wisconsin? Because people have to figure out how to get to that level first. So yeah, I'm going for my mom. And they like to see like a spiritual shift. What if God wanted my mom to bring Brother Bowen to like to the place because he might like, but like sometimes so some people don't realize like it's a void. Like I used to think I was gonna go when I got on disability. I was gonna go to Wisconsin and like ride to Wisconsin, but I had to learn that like you have to respect the people over there, or you have to take domain. You see. So sometimes when I wrestle a bear, I got to that level where the bear it likes to be wrestled because he got easy. But sometimes like when people see something at the council, they're like it's bound to see like an evil bear. You see. So sometimes when people say, "Oh, why is Marie's teeth yellow?" it might cause a contradiction for young people that it doesn't cause for old people because when I go to Target and get a pink milk, I close my mouth. So some people don't realize my teeth might be a certain whiter than people who work there. But sometimes when people go to jobcorp, they'll have a statistical economy because it's not about the people in secret. It's about the work of God. Because sometimes, imagine if, imagine if there was a milk for $2, but like I bought it for 3. Outside of market value, it would be worth more. So if I bought it for market value, it would be worth more. So sometimes like shirt. So I have this shirt right here. I want to wear this. I'm gonna wear this under my shirt. So if something's bought for more than market value, the balance of it is worth all Septembers, all irregular balances of calendar outside of that market economy of what is worth for the value of human behavior and the decisions that people have at a certain age where they say, I might want to move and get a husband, but I have a house. But what if someone has a house and they can't leave from there because they have no one to watch it? They will have to put it on the market that's related to the economy. So sometimes when I put my aerial pasta shirt, it used to work because, but like people would wear it, but they wouldn't realize that a lot of people who used to wear apostle, they used to go to the thing. So sometimes it's an economy because I have to like put a thing. Just really quick. Sometimes they be like crazy. But it's like sometimes I have like more sweat. So it's like, yeah, I look chubby. So it's like I have mildew. So it's like sometimes I look really raw, but like it depends on who I'm around. You see, sometimes my brother is a spiritual brother. It's not a genetic brother. You see, so sometimes when people have brothers, they'll be like, "Hey, Maurice," they expect me to have a quality that he has, but they'll see because like when I got my head bows, I might lose some weight and I might look like my dad's. You see, so I have my dad's ass, but it's like I'm chubby, so people don't realize that if I lose weight, I'm not gonna be the same. So sometimes, yeah, my mama's raw, but when I play like football, and then it's like when I play football and things, that's when it gets offensive because all this stuff starts turning to Wisconsin airline. It starts turning to Pearl Harbor. It starts turning to World War II and a collection of treasure, not a collection of nonsense from the Skokie area. You see, so sometimes when people wake up on a Sunday, they be like, "Hey, look, I have biscuits from when I was 40 years ago, and I have work from 20 years worth of work with that's each worth of merchandise. Why I want to get it on record because I don't want people to say that they get a DHS in the same box of the same area outside of the same what it's worth. Because when I fix my painting my walls and thing, they say that I can't prove that some things is related to a certain area. When people say we see, because sometimes when people have a context, it does work because people agree at a certain time. You see, so sometimes when people say, "Oh, what is in Skokie?" it's a certain way that people might like a rusty bath because it's not like in a certified economy of modern cities where people Skokie is an old city where people live when they lay low, when they don't have nowhere to establish the law and nowhere to put their items when they leave. Because someone will say, if I have a Skokie, it's like buying a computer from an old shop that was existing before the new shop. But the old computer is from pieces that are outdated even 20 years ago, but they can be updated with Windows Microsoft systems that are from present, from operating systems that run from the 90s that operate on those Windows 12. So sometimes when people say, "Oh, we're going to get a new operating system of data system," but it's like you have to learn how to infrastructure the other systems before McDonald's has a vice on a Microsoft. Should never happen because people will say, "Oh, I can make a movie in a 2004 because the sunlight might shine in someone's house that makes it a difference." So we want to make sure we turn off the fan in the morning because it consumes a lot of energy. So my mom, she said that the energy goes up. So it's like that sometimes when it's the fan on every day, that should be at least $50 for that. So sometimes when it adds up, people will say, "Oh, $50 is not enough for return two side of the year, account two side of fourth year." So sometimes people will say, "What can I invest in a Bible in a ticket that's not from a church where they say, oh, she was part of our church because she was part of the economy." But the law was that they went into her at 2009 attack because people get old, and people will say that sometimes when it's a black man, when you start talking about being an athlete, people start looking differently. So sometimes that's why when I was playing high school football, it's also about looks and how people look. Because when it's grand, see, because that's how it goes. See? So sometimes people go to Wisconsin, people like just grab a pillow and get comfy with the ladies because it's funny. Because that's how it goes. Because he is scared, but it's like when people mention like Christ Temple and says you have to wait a long time to get to those levels. Some of these fathers, they never was even born yet. So that's why when it's the gospel again, when God says enter the right way, sometimes I used to look in these mirrors, but the light and the sun in September is a little different. So when I pass the mold of scripture, yeah, it could be born again Sunday, but it's also born again 200 IC Sundays before Skokie and Christ Temple age 14 before the 14th Sunday Skokie 2020 for 15 today after. So I have to lower my voice. So sometimes when I close the door, people will say, "Oh, he's not trying to bother me because I'm in a different domain." Where people will say, "Oh, now when I have people was like, why don't you talk to Pastor Rick? Because I don't know how long it took him to be a pastor." You see, so sometimes when people pray, they be like, "Oh, we're seeing people in the church." They're gonna make an economy, but you have to have black men because like people will say, if it's a black man, Sometimes people with pretty faces, they don't even like to have sex. They just like to make a woman like talk to them and do what they say. You see. So sometimes when it's black men and it's athletes like Ladarius, Bishop Bell, or do maybe like Ladarius Dad versus Brother Sorrell. Some people could have different opinions on how old someone claims they are related to compared to other people who say that they can't be in the same economy as others because they say that someone is Dennis Hampton or someone they claim that Jesus was broken or they say that he doesn't have a variety of looking handsome or looking six pack because I'm chubby now, so I'm gonna wear this apostle shirt as a mark of what I felt when I woke up. The renewal of the morning is also part of the art of God. So when people are born, some kids is bloody. So when the Lord exists, He'll say, "Why is people doing halfway sciences? If you're a man, you do things complete." So when I joined the Air Force, I'll be in the military. It's a branch of the air divisions. You see, so it's not Air Force is not the top source, but it does have vice divisions of aerial dynamic that breaks the solar equation of uh, the formation of the anatomy of relation to solar space and the plant and uh, uh, the aerial division of the branch of sciences of vehicles and the scientific world of vehicles and different anatomy of the science of the planet and the earth and the different transportation systems and location securities that relate to America. So sometimes when people do planes, they'll say if you drive one plane, it's like having a baby. If you know what your baby is going to look like, you could be a scientist. You see. So some people will be part of airline pilots for years, but they need renewal because someone will say, "Do it my way," but in a second, you should be able to do it in the right way. So imagine if someone didn't have a house at age 17, but they had to go to job court at age 18 because they were like, "I don't have a house. I don't have." Some men that they'd be like, "Oh, I could do that," but what if people had a certain status where they was like, "Oh, I had my first apartment, and then my status was women started to like it because they'd be like, we see." So when I get my pink milk after eating two different types of meats for 2 years, I first get an economy of my weight system where my blood cells transition to two different meats because God doesn't eat pork because it isolates the seed of digestion of woman where if someone gets their head bulge they'll get a icky on them where the son doesn't like pork because the pigs stay are the ones that stay in council because they left the other animals to try to get to God because you have to have an economy to come to Jesus, you see. So when people bow to the Lord, they'll say, "Oh, we have to have an economy because the Lord, He likes to see because He shows people things related to belief." So if I walk to Target for the third day after the two receipts in a different time before my breakthroughs this morning on one video, when I woke up, it could be woman, it could be difference in time. It could be a certain woman. It could be a certain part of the morning while the sun is still shining before a person might say, "Oh, this is Sunday, one day out of 365 Sundays of 9 years," because each Sunday has 12 hours out of 12 parts of the year, 3 parts of the month of each 12 from 3 different years of Septembers, and each different ninth month of a different number of 3 ages produces a different number of September outside of the fiscal birthday year versus the year of the government related to the calendars that of human behavior of people who want to be great and have a relationship to that scale of measurement of human boundaries. When Jesus existed before Rome earthquake and Greece existed after David earthquake and Noah existed before American earthquake and Jonah existed in America after European earthquake. So Germans are minorities because just like blacks in America, so when people see themselves, they'll say, "Hey, okay, I'm a minority, I'm still a winner. I could still eat chicken and berries. I could still eat German bakery." And some people don't eat chicken because it's unhealthy, right? So some people do have a form of science where they see a secret of deodorant, pork, and cancer and what it does. But when someone says that People say I'm not going to date nobody with green eyes because I don't see them. So when people choose a lady with a pretty face, they'll say, "Oh, it's just a pretty face." But sometimes when people see shit coming, they'll be like, "What if someone tries to rob my kid?" So okay, it might not happen, but I don't want it to happen, and I don't want to be sure that I'm in counsel, so I could warn people that some of my thoughts that I had for my son, it could have. What if someone tried to rob my son? What if someone tried to take me away from my son and say that I wasn't going to be able to raise him and get the things where I could go to the beauty supply and get products that cost a lot of money only from the economy and order them and make a store around here related to the business that people are taking from working here and paying the taxes to work here, because they claim that the other people in this village is not historical, but they're getting tax resources that doesn't relate to a mayor or a presidency, that relates to a governor's fiscal division of the economy of each sector. You see, so sometimes when presidents see a certain way, they can't do things because they're just an image of a process. When white people try to get in control of things that they say come from them spiritually, because Obama was president, you see, and that was after 1800s. There might have already been black people who could have been the president, but people through media and Wi-Fi, they claimed that it didn't exist back in the day when open eyes, but technology relates to a form of God and the devil, and technology that relates to a boundary of things that couldn't exist in 2008, but in 1980 it could have been similar to the rivers and David, the trees and Noah, and versus all the cartoons that relate to scripture of connections to things inside a box, outside 4-digit calendar, Skokie 4-digit calendar 442, and all things in between. A Sunday outside of a box in 2004, and a Saturday outside of the box in 2008 for the fourth year of eighth grade, before high school start, before any payment of a job outside of age, and any leave outside of 90s, before library in the 90s, after a different state, before 2004 after Steve's house. So I guess that sometimes I look for an institution, just look for a Saturday school, and look for a Sunday age, and then maybe look for a summer of a place on the left side of age, and then maybe a winter after a summer, and a spring before an age, and a different odd year of 3 outside the end of a different term. So sometimes when it's the Lord, he is good. That's what I believe. But someone will claim that he can't release me because they said that when it was Christ's temple and when it was 2004 apostolic church, they put a boundary on my head shape because my head got bigger and I started having stuffy thoughts when I used to have clear thoughts when I was in the elementary of America, because they say that when a kid, I used to have beautiful thoughts. You see, different people don't know what it's got until the devil tries to make an isolation of economy when there's no friends, no bakery, because I used to be isolated with certain black people that was angry. Sometimes people could say, "Oh, I'm all this," but they could be stalking me with the one life to live. I could be stalking a million treasures, you see. So sometimes people don't realize when they try to stalk me and isolate me, they'll even try to say that what I claim all these years came from them in secret. After 2015, they already said that before the 15th of the ninth month and the fourth year after age 16. So sometimes anatomy also relates to the anatomy of a video is different than the anatomy of construction. So the Wi-Fi and the technology of the Wi-Fi is different than the architectural reality of the universe, of the calendar, and the different spheres of the globe that relate to the Wi-Fi of the area of the sun, and the study of the dynamic of different human beings that relate to Skokie. When someone tries to put a boundary around someone, saying that the neighbors are Indian and they can't leave here because they're saying that they're trying to get a German lady out of America because they claim that the people in 2004, the boy didn't speak up about how he joined the military in 2011, but he couldn't. They offered him a position at the jobcorp to do construction, office administration, because I'm American and I was born American in Louisiana. But some people claim that when I joined the Air Force, they were jealous and offended because they wanted to make me go to jobcorp, because they claimed that when I was the day that I was going to sign the papers, they say that the place called me and I was like, "Hey, this is the opportunity that I already signed up for before." And I took that because I always prayed that I could make it on land and not in the military, because my dad was in the military. My first brother joined the military, so I wanted to do things differently in America. That's why when I had my first job when I was 15, and my first 3-year job when I was in Hardy, people would say, "Oh, that's when I'm 32." When my mom had me at that age before I was 8 years old, before people's children are their age after, when I have an American belief on resources and economy of different businesses, so people might not understand what I mean. So I might have to put this on a purple. That might mean Barney, and this might be 2008 technology when Obama was president. For the 14-year-olds that existed then and the 17-year-olds that existed before Bush might be different than Back to the Future versus a movie that was made before the Obama presidency that symbolizes teenage life before 2014. People age 8 has a different correlation of numbers and time, because my life might be in a different box than people who was born in a different year after 8 years old in 1800, after or the uh, 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 Pearl Harbor World War could mean something different from people who were involved in there. Because sometimes in America, a lot of these people will be extremists in the war, and they'll say, "But God does give art." But when I join the military, people will get offended because they'll try to tell people, "Oh, you have to follow me because you're gonna get resources from somebody else." If we say that we can scam people and we were part of that location, I joined the thing, and people who get those rights, they claim that they were extremists in the World War II, and they were saying that could beat people in a fight and they could hide in the synagogue, but they didn't want to show people what it takes to see in secret and to bless the Lord. At a time when I joined the military at a young age and wanted to get a woman and green eyes because the Lord is good. So when a lot of these people who are local, and a lot of these people who didn't join the Air Force, they didn't play football, basketball, dunks. They got a gravity before they attacked me in 2011 because I had Space Jam track and field. You see, so what I had for my girl, it was like a World War Olympics movie where people got old, and they wanted to make me old too, because there's part of life in bakery, and there's part of life in things where people will say, "Oh, what about Wisconsin? Might have a bakery. It might have a color gray, not just all in one sun, Skokie, whole Illinois in America." So sometimes when people mention America, what if someone had a bakery but they weren't in the military, and they try to link to tribes of people with no insurance that related to people saying we have to stay in the box? Because what if someone tried to say that someone can't make a bakery because they're illegally involved in things that is not related to the boy's belief of love and science and woman when he did get attacked, where people who did exist when they said he had a mental illness, when he could hear voices, and they said that he was crazy because they claimed that they were trying to empower their families when they claimed they were in the military at a time with the NSA, when they tried to steal the boy's identity at the Chicago Paul Simon Drug Corps, because they claimed that they were proud of themselves in secret, and the boy couldn't prove that he was going to advance, regardless of them saying that they had secret powers, or they were going to evict someone, or they were going to be saying that they were in the military, or saying that they were some type of clown or someone who wanted to represent America falsely. Because when I was 8 years old in 99, I had to prove my belief in science first before I joined the Air Force. And I proved my belief in government, politics, and life science, beauty, and combat and religion, you see? So sometimes when people say, "Oh, that's what I wanted to do," then get out of secret and man up. But what if someone tried to say, "Oh, I'm going to use a weapon with the gun of being a white man," like they already did when I was 18 years old, when they locked me in the psych hospital after my 2010 birthday, because they claimed that they want to prove that God exists, and they were in secret at a time. They say that I couldn't prove my science and my belief in God because these people were murderers. But what if there was like a bakery and someone said, "Oh, I have to take this bakery because I don't take it seriously"? Because sometimes in America, what if someone scams someone using the bakery? What if the bakery was good for the berries and what God created, but then they started trying to put a boundary around other people in the terrain, claiming that when the young man claimed, they might have been staring at from a tribal Indian, because when the boy was really handsome, they got jealous that he beat an Indian and a black man, light-skinned mixed kid battle, and they bulged his head out and tried to make his size smaller using injections from white people, because somehow they got him in a psych hospital with weapons from police, because they claimed they wanted him to fear them in America, when the bakery could be a false balance, you see? So sometimes when I see, like, I want to do a music and a song, but I can see the poetry in my tablet. Well, what if someone tried to delete my files? Because the Google man from 7-Eleven, he said that I have to make a new Google account when I have my account for 7 years with 20,000 videos on there, and it's not right in America. But they say that I can't speak up because they claim that I have a mental illness, and they're in secret thinking that they're saying that there's some type of powerful man that says that I can't have rights because because they claim that they want to discriminate against me from being black. When I had my first job when I was 15, the Chinese man wouldn't give me a job, and they put me in a location with DHS where I couldn't get access to economy, so I had to create my own economy. But they claim that people can get that for free because they're in secret, saying that I can't walk to the store and buy a milk because they claim there's a tax on it different than the bakery. Because if someone makes a bakery, what if someone else exists and claims that the store wouldn't be run? But a lot of people would want those jobs in the local area. But what if they try to send murderers and Texas Tech people because they claim that the store is not made available through the corporate that they claim is related to when that store was first built, related to my life at a time when these people might have been 40 years old in the Obama presidency before they tried to attack me for years and years, from the Obama to the Biden vice presidency after 2016, Kamala Harris versus Clinton before Trump was already younger than the president in 1970, Bush too, before the youngest president is the first president after 2000, Clinton backwards, before 2022 baseball championship, before after Roku TV, before Des Plaines summer, before the fall of Curry, Colorado, and then one more fall, Pete Dragon, before Swedish Hospital, after the order for Jew law school food. So sometimes when I gotta take a science, some people might have to take a pootie, and it might be a certain way that people will say it's nasty, but that's what humans do when they work and they make a mistake eating Indian food that has animals from different altitudes where people can't find out how to redigest it, sitting in someone's car farting because that car cost a lot of money, $17,000, and I didn't have that when I was a kid. I had to save for years to get my first 5,000 and scam the system because I was getting disability money and working because I couldn't afford an apartment at a time that DHS was Mexican and saying they were trying to scam me because they claimed that they were getting some type of political money of resources in America not related to Indians and tribal people, that they try to put a boundary around me, saying that when I followed the rules and I was in elementary born American, they were trying to steal my identity. And because the president was white, he was in on it because they claimed that they wanted to discriminate and make a false representation of a president of their choosing that doesn't relate to what God is doing. At a time when someone says that they wanted to be related to a political time like World War II, and a time when God was having high art forms that they could have spiritual power of the bakery that's not related to human judgment of someone who has a hand in secret that's not related to the law, of them saying that someone is trying to scam people because they don't exist, when they say that I can't go for my walk because they're going to try to harass me and say that my behavior is because they evicted me from my apartment when I was a certain age, because it was 2020 and 2010 when they said that they were attacking me and harassing me at the zoo. That's why my behavior was because they claimed that I couldn't prove my belief in God.